So I'd like to talk about 4 points here. Firstly, democracy. I think that this debate about whether or not Britain remains in the European Union, it's not just about who we are now, it's about who we can be. It's about first principles. It's about models of democracy in the 21st century. I personally believe in the enduring relevance of the nation state to the 21st century. I believe that for democracy to work, it needs to be based upon the national principle. To have a democracy, you have to have a demos, you need to have citizens. And I had a debate earlier today with the director of Stronger In, Will Straw. And you know what he said? The topic of social employment legislation came up. Personally, I think social employment legislation, I think that key issue that defines the relationship to a country strikes and a balance of the relationship between labour and capital, I think it should be decided upon by a national democracy. But he said his view was that he is concerned if that was the case because he doesn't like the idea of having social employment legislation in place that he doesn't agree with. So as a result of that, he supports keeping that decision away from the British people. Personally, as a Conservative, I have a certain set of views with regards to social employment legislation. And if we had a national election and that was up for debate, like I think it ought to be, I would make those views known. But I would fully accept if socialists won. If socialists won a national election and they decided to implement socialist social employment legislation, I would accept that because that's democracy. But what upset me is that Will Straw wouldn't accept the alternative. And that's where I believe, as somebody who supports Vote Leave, I differ fundamentally with Stronger In, because I believe in democracy, I believe in keeping power as close to people as possible. The quote I most love, and the quote why I'm a Conservative, is the Burkean quote about the little platoon. To love the subdivision, to love the little platoon to which you belong to in society is the first link of public affections by which you come to love your neighbour, your community, your countrymen, and also the rest of mankind. It's those concentric circles of identity that define us. So for those reasons, amongst many others, I support Brexit. Democracy is a key one. I want trade to be decided nationally. I want the level of immigration. I'm pro-immigration. I think immigration has been crucial to this country. And it could be that as a country we decide to have a high level of immigration. But you know what? That should be the decision of this country, the national electorate of this country. If we want to have high immigration, we should be able to decide that. If we don't, we should be able to decide that. Fundamentally, that's the key difference between us and the Remain side. Immigration, second point, I've already mentioned it once. But I'm extremely concerned about immigration and the fact that at the moment we don't have control over the number of people who come into this country. This concerns me. Most people who move to this country move here because they work hard and they contribute. However, I am concerned that currently net migration is running at over 300,000 people a year, every year. The strain that is putting on our school system, the strain that is putting on our hospitals. I'm a proud Brit, and I find it depressing that our boys and girls, too many of our boys and girls, are being educated in porter cabins because of the strain that immigration is placing upon this country. And of course, there's also the security aspect of immigration. The fact that we don't know who's coming in. That's a key factor, and it's exactly why the head of the US National Intelligence has said that free movement within Europe, unrestrained movement within Europe, puts this country at greater risk. In terms of my third point, which is no reason to fear, last year, the EU had a surplus of £70 billion with the UK. Last year, we manufactured in this country 2.4 million engines. Ladies and gentlemen, the idea that the remaining EU countries are going to make it awkward for us to trade with them is a joke. Leaving, if we vote to leave, is not an event, it's a process. The day after we leave will be exactly the same as the day before. We have time to figure out what the exact arrangements will be. Remain say that they can point to what things are going to be like with certainty if we vote to stay in. They can't. I claim here now that voting to stay in is a leap in the dark. because our relationship has fundamentally changed. Moreover, what we're seeing in terms of what we will see in terms of the EU Euro member countries, for 19 of them, who will fiscally integrate and create a country called Europe at the heart of the European Union. The idea that folly will not impact upon us as a member when we have contributed over 800 million of the 4.2 billion that was the Greek bailout package is ludicrous. This special status Britain supposedly has is undefined. I don't know what it really means. I don't know if you know what it means. But to me, it seems like a leap in the dark. The only certainty with regard to staying in is uncertainty. Uncertainty about the number of people who are going to be coming to this country. Profound uncertainty about our ability to map out our future. So I'm going to try I've spoken for far too long, and I really do much prefer Q&A. But for reasons primarily, I would say, of democracy and first principles, I would say believe in your country, believe in its future, and vote for independence, full independence.